Let's take a look at what's been happening with the market's reaction to those tariffs that were announced yesterday afternoon after the market closed. Right now, you see the Dow futures are off by about 1,100 points. Let's look at these on a percentage basis, too. The NASDAQ right now down by more than 700 points. The S&P futures are down by about 186. That's a decline for the S&P of 3.25%. The Dow off by close to 2.6%, and the NASDAQ down by 3.6%. These market sell-offs, at least at this moment, in the early hours before we get to the opening bell, are bigger percentage drops than you're seeing around the globe. So there are a lot of concerns about what this will mean for the global economy. But right now, it seems to be hitting hardest right here in the United States. 10-year yield also trading near its lowest level since October 17th of last year. In fact, 4.04% was the lowest since October 17th. We're at the lowest level since before Election Day. This is seen as a flight to safety at this point. The 10-year's at 4.05, the 2-year at 3.77. So many questions about what this is going to mean on an individual company-by-company basis, what it's going to mean on a country-by-country basis. If you check out what's happening in Europe this morning, you'll see that right now with markets that are open, the CAC is the worst performer. It's down by about 2.4%. The DAX in Germany off by now 1.9%. So that's been picking up some steam. Earlier, they were down by about 1.2, 1.3%.
And worth noting, by the way, Germany's finance minister already out this morning effectively saying that they should retaliate against Trump.
Yeah.
They believe that he will buckle under the pressure, interestingly.
There's some back and forth about where...
Once you start with that language, that's, I think, where a lot of this is
that is
going to come
question.
from.
Do we get retaliation or do we get conciliatory tones where they say, okay, we're going to take some down?
Well, already you're getting the retaliation language.
See when they announce it, but that's certainly possible. These will be challenging days ahead. I think we're looking at that. The other thing we don't really know, this is obviously a stock market sell-off can be self-fulfilling in terms of it can hurt the economy. But at this point, we don't know. The economy is still the same economy at this point. So it could go south.
I will tell you
no doubt,
the chaos that this has thrown into business. If you talk to large businesses, if you talk to small businesses, mid-sized businesses. I mean, I have a friend who works at a company where they import really high-end sweaters. And last night, her concern was she had just moved all the production to Cambodia and was really seeing a lot of the benefits that they were getting because they made their way out of China. There's not enough capacity.
I mean, this, by the way, is the same story even with
large volumes.
Small company, big company. Apple, same story. They moved out of China. They moved to Vietnam. They moved to India.
Yeah.
They're going to get slapped with these things, too. I will tell you, I talked to a CEO just yesterday, though. This is even a broader issue, which is a major multinational company that says that what's happening here is actually making it harder to hire people in other places. It's a consumer-facing company. That there are consumers that are not as interested in buying from them. So this is the whole thing changes, like the entire dynamic changes
a lot to work through.
As a result of this idea that America, which you talk about the American dream, part of what we have been selling this American dream is to the rest of the world.
But Andrew, you have been the end result, and I don't know if there's a method to the madness or not. I don't know whether it eventually works because people are split. Hardcore, classical economists have never liked tariffs.
Yeah.
History has not liked tariffs. History and economists.
When he was talking yesterday, he talked about prior to your book, 1929, tariffs were working. Then when they got rid of them and tried to bring them back, smooth halt, nothing worked. So that was bad. The Kernan family imports a lot from Vietnam for certain things. That was 46%.
Yeah.
That's a 46%. So I don't know where the Trump put is. I don't know. It looks like they're serious. I mean, we should probably point out, and we could, when the S&P is dropping like this on one day, we shouldn't get complacent. But we're now back to 10%.
Right.
So now we're back. So somehow we had bounced to where now all we're doing is matching the worst levels that we saw. Not to say that we couldn't, if it goes down 3 or 4% a day, you could get to 20% in a week.
I think there are still questions about how long-term these tariffs are, if this is negotiation.
And whether...
But the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was on Bloomberg last night, and he said, look, I would urge other countries not to retaliate. There could be a negotiation that's in the works.
He was urging negotiation.
But he also basically threatening these countries not to do anything where they will raise it from here. Yeah. This is the ceiling otherwise, unless you retaliate back, in which case we will raise even more. But then he also said we need to let these settle in.
Right.
And that suggests that this is not going to be gone in a week. This is not going to be gone.
But that is the hope.
In a month.
That is the hope that
That's
it's
the hope,
not a trade war.
That's the hope built into
but it's
the
that some of these
right now,
countries
still.
that, and admittedly, some of them have been bad actors in the past. The hope is that they take the tariffs off.
But whatever it is, it means that the next several months, at a minimum, are going to be crazy. And it also means that most businesses are going to be frozen from making investment and doing anything.
I will say there's a scramble today for companies that have to come in and figure out immediately. If you're importing a lot of goods, you got to figure out immediately what you're doing. So people in the business community are like, wow.
We don't know yet what the hit's going to be to GDP or, there's already been hits to consumer confidence across the board. But once again, I don't know if it's
You feel like it's a good idea?
I didn't say it's a good idea. I'm saying you don't know. And I don't think at this point you need to absolutely go running down the street screaming that the world's ending.
Look, in Canada...
We didn't need to do it during COVID because it was 2,200 on the S&P. It came back. We probably don't need to do it. There may be a time. And if you read the Journal, this is anathema to everything that like the Wall Street Journal thinks. How long does he... if it's the biggest sort of change in the global economy since World War II in terms the end of globalization, it's going to be gut-wrenching, but we're back to the broccoli. I don't know if the cheesecake ever comes. Well, you might be eating dog food the rest of your life.
The Journal pointed out that we have done very well under this globalization that we've set up, that America has had 25%.
But the UAW guys that were there yesterday don't give a crap about Wall Street. They don't care about wealthy people. I mean, 401ks, but they were... Well, did you see they were all in on this? We closed 60,000 factories over the last 50 years.
And 60,000 factories. In the United States, auto workers make on average $70 an hour. In Mexico, it's $6 an hour. So there's a huge difference. This started with NAFTA and probably...
But USMCA is okay on this.
Well, that's why this whole thing... So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because USMCA is okay.